hodgepodge.
Okay,
That's my goal.
That's what we call potpourri. The hodgepodge.
I like a goal directed.
Okay.
I think that's my preference.
Good to know. Good to know.
And I will show up. And I will show up and I'll bring a friend.
Awesome.
Okay. And wait, maybe Joanna, right? No, she's allergic. She's allergic. Yeah, yeah. Well, she says until they okay. She says stubborn one.
Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Everybody's so quiet. It's a beautiful day. I know, right?
Do you ever go to Ocean City?
Ever go what?
Ocean City?
I've only been there when we went on the bike ride. They have it's the MS ride. Yeah, the MS ride. Right, we ride from Philly to Ocean City,
Yes.
and then we stay overnight, and we ride back the next day. I haven't done it since COVID.
It's a long ride.
It is a long ride, and then doing it again the next day. And the thing is, it's ever so slightly uphill, but it's uphill from the shore to Philly. So you go down on one day, and then you have to drive it. But no, but we go down to the. I have a friend that lives in Brigantine and in Ventnor, so we tend to go there.
On the boardwalk, they had two piers with crowds.
Oh, nice.
Jillian's has been there for like 94 years. This is their last weekend.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really sad.
Oh.
So like I've been, going there forever, taking vacations.
Are you going down today
We
then?
went last week.
Okay.
So like it's gonna get crazier as there's less time.
Yeah.
And even still, like the lines are like longer. So like again, going on some of the rides for the last time.
Oh, that's fun. Nostalgic.
It is.
Yeah.
Like the thought of it not being there is scary.
Yeah. I get it. Change.
94 years.
Oh, thank you.
Let's do it.
Did you get it all down?
Yeah.
Awesome. Are you taking it back today?
Yeah. Might as well. I should leave it right there. Be like, oh, I got it down. Anything y'all want to do? Postures, body parts? Okay. And some core? Okay. Anyone else? All right. We'll play a little core. We'll play a little chest opener, the heart opener. It's very similar. Just trying to open up this front body, engage that back body a little bit more. Yeah. All right, let's do it. Take a nice seat. Close the eyes. Sit up nice and tall. Take a few breaths. So here, as we close our eyes and we say, like, we turn inward. What does that mean? What are we attempting to do here? We're just trying to come to this moment. And what's the easiest way to come to this exact moment? Because what does your mind want to do? It wants to wander, right? All different places. But you want to come right here. And that's going to be with your breath. That one thing you can count on from the moment that you were until the moment you'll be something else, your breath. That's what brings us to that middle of the hourglass. We set an intention, something that we want to receive from the practice today. Some of us come because we want to exercise, or we want to try to learn a new pose, or we want to come hang out with our kula, right? Our yoga family, our friends. Whatever it is, we honor it. It's what brought us to the mat. We leave everything that's outside the yoga room right there, outside the yoga room. And we concentrate now here in this space. On our mats for ourselves, right? In the room for each other. And then we start our little refinements. So from listening to yourself breathe, to slowing down the beginning of the inhale and pushing more on the end of the exhale, to counting out the breath, to finding Ujjayi. Where is it that you need to settle into? We've been using that counting out the breath, so 2 or 3 seconds for the inhale, 2 or 3 seconds for the exhale, or whatever the length of your breath is, right? One, to create a balanced action. But it also then creates that rhythm or that pace for our practice. Shortly, when we go from downward dog to plank, that's going to be the length of our breath. If it's 2 seconds, then that's how long it's going to take to come from downward dog to plank. If it's 3 seconds, then that's how long it's going to take. So whatever the rhythm of our breath is going to dictate is how we're going to pace our practice. Sometimes the breath will come up and the practice will get a little bit quicker. Just like sometimes it's going to slow down and the practice will slow down. Next inhale, as the breath turns to movement, let the arms lift. Big inhale. And on the exhale, feel the thumbs come to touch, then the pinkies, the pointer fingers, and the ring fingers, and the middle fingers. It's the petals of the lotus closing. And now our breath goes to that space between our palms. And together, one time, that song of our breath, together the sound of Om. All together, deep breath in. Beautiful. As we softly bow our head to our hearts, our heads to each other's hearts. Lift the head, open the eyes, release the hands. All right, let's start out standing. You didn't see that coming, did you? Since we have a little space today, we're going to make the most of our space. All right? Sometimes we're a little tighter in here, we're a little close. So we got the space, let's move a little bit. So set yourself up, Tadasana, mountain pose. My little dog, always with me, right? She's always right here. Her face, her dirty face, right here on my shoulder. All right, set yourself up. So feet are hips width apart, and they're parallel like train tracks. What wants to happen? This, right? I'm being a little dramatic so you can see, but so we set them up. Now, lean back and get those heels to root. Heels and the ball of the foot are going to stay rooted, so the big toe mound, but my toes I can move. Now sweep the inner heels out and hug the shins and start to pull that energy up your legs. Pull your kneecaps up to your waist so that my quads are fired up, but I'm not hyperextending my knees. Pull your heels to your butt, get those hamstrings to kick on. Pull the pelvic floor up, pull the belly in, pull the shutters closed. Now you feel like you get a lift. Arms are by the side, fingers are spread, and you're hugging in. Yep, head and throat back. Now every muscle you have is hugging into a bone right now. Right? If I try to move Trina, nowhere, right? Solid. That's how much we're hugging in. And now we'll just put it to the breath and a little bit of movement. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale by the side. Inhale, take them up. Right away, start linking up your breath to your movement. Exhale by the side. If the inhale is 2 seconds, then for 2 seconds, my arms come up, right? The exhale 2 seconds, for 2 seconds, my arms come down. Because it could be this, right? But that's not with my breath, right? So keep it with your breath. Starting to open up some of these lats, starting to get this chest to peel a little bit, getting this abdominal wall to open. Next time the arms come up, let that right hand grab the left wrist, and then take that side bend to the right. Root down into from your left hip down into your left heel. That's going down. But then above is going up. That's where you're going to get the peel. And then inhale, come up. Exhale, hands by the sides. Inhale, take them up. This time the left hand grabs the right wrist, and we take that side bend to the left. Now, belly in, shutters closed, head and throat back, arms back. Yep. Inhale, come up. Exhale, hands by the side. Next time they inhale, pull the belly in, pull the sit bones down, and then maybe curl back. Feel that peel come up the front body. Feel it come up the belly, the chest, the neck, up your arms. Inhale, come up. Exhale, hands to the tops of your thighs. Sit back. So you're taking the heel of your hand here, right here to the crease of your hip. And we're pushing down, persuading a little bit of space right here. Belly's in, shutters are closed. Yep, head and throat back. Push down, rise up, swing the arms up. Maybe curl back. Inhale, come up. Exhale, hands behind your back. Interlace your fingers. Take a nice big inhale here. Now that we got the ribs filled, take the shoulders back. And then to get forearm, bicep, pec, that's that fascial line we talk about all the time. You can start to take your hands away from your back a little bit, and it'll run up here. And then exhale, release. Swing the arms up. This time exhale, fold. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, fold, bend the knees, place the hands, step or jump back, downward dog. So first downward dog, we can soften up the dog. You can bend your knees. You can swivel, you can pedal, wiggle, whatever feels good to you. And then come to a neutral position, so find that flat back. In the upper body, we're hugging the hands in. We're lifting the forearms up so they don't fall to the floor. We're lifting the inner biceps up. When you lift your inner biceps up, it should feel like your shoulders move out away from your neck. So you want that. You don't want your shoulders pinching your neck. Now slide your throat back so your chin doesn't fall to the midline, like to the middle of your mat. Yeah, and you're going to feel the muscles in the back of your neck start to activate. We want that. Belly and shutters, right? So we hit the core. Now start to pedal the heels. Reach the right heel down, inhale it up. Exhale, left heel down. Your next inhale, lift it up. Exhale that side one and stay with the breath. It's easy to just start pedaling real fast here, right? Stay with your breath. You're preparing yourself here, right? We're in the warm-up. Come to neutral when you balance both sides out. Next inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, lower chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, baby cobra. Take 3 nice breaths. You want your shoulders to go this way. Back. This is what happens a lot, this. We're looking for the opposite, back and down away from your ears. And then lower your chest, push up through plank, back to downward dog. Keep your hands down, swivel to the outside of the right foot, inside of the left. Feel that left side body open up. Inhale, come back to center. Take a breath. When you're ready, swivel to the outside of the left foot, inside of the right. Now you feel that right side body. Do those lats. Those intercostal muscles are the ones between your ribs. Inhale, come back to center. Next inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, lower chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, baby cobra. Take 3 nice breaths. Squeeze those shoulders back. Then after your 3 breaths, back to chaturanga or lower your chest. Push up through plank. Back to downward dog. Keep pushing your hands down and forward, and then bring your chest back towards your toenails. And that'll start making that stretch a little more intense, coming up the arms and the chest, running up the outsides of the back there, the side bodies. Inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, lower chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, baby cobra. Last time, holding the 3 breaths. Right? Balance isn't always equal. So we're trying to overbalance the upper back, like squeeze it to peel open the chest. After your 3 breaths, back to chaturanga or lower your chest. Push up through plank. Back to downward dog. Reach the right leg straight back. Step it through. Lunge. So we're high on our fingertips or our blocks, right? Give yourself some space. It's all about your spine, right? This is what dictates how high we are in our arms, right? Either our hands are to the floor or to our blocks. Can we find this Tadasana in lunge? What wants to happen? This. We're not trying to reinforce this shit, right? We're trying to get neutral back. So find where your space is. Now start pushing down and then start hugging in. The front to back is front heel back, back toes forward. The side to side is shins in. The top to bottom is the more you push down. Now start to pull those chakras from root right on up. Belly, shudders, heart, throat, gaze in front of the mat. Reach through the crown of the head. Inhale, come up. Virabhadrasana, 1 crescent. Square that left hip forward like you're trying to hug to the inside of your right thigh. Then go back to pull up like from your junk, pelvic floor. Then when you pull the belly and the shudders, you're going to feel this lift come up. That's the space that you now want to curl back into. Yep. Keep coming into that lead knee so it stays on top of the ankle. Now let the back of your heart lift up through the front of the chest. That's the space. And then curl back even deeper into the pose. Yep. Exhale your hands down, step back, downward dog. Nice, y'all. Right? Each breath we want to move the pose a little bit further. We're not talking inches. Sometimes we're talking microns of space, right? The smallest of spaces. But we're always trying to move forward. We don't want to finish where we started. We want the pose to grow. Reach the left leg straight back. Step it through. Lunge. Yep. Now find where that space is and work the spine. Your arms aren't really bearing any weight here. Your legs should be bearing the weight, right? See Trina's hands coming up? Doesn't change the pose. Your hands down to the block is to just give like, it just lets the pose chill in your mind, right? Because it has a little more support. So now that your body feels okay, like you're not going to fall forward and crash your face, right? Because that's what it's thinking primally. You've set yourself up in a good place. So now we'll stretch. We reach the heel back. We reach the knee forward, right? We reach up through the crown of the head. But here we go. Keep pushing down and hugging in. Inhale, come up. Vira 1 crescent. So crescent keeps the back heel up, right? Keep sweeping it out. That's going to bring that right hip forward. And then you work the chakras from the root. Pull it up. especially the shutters. That's where the lift happens. Even reach up through your thumbs. You'll feel the back of the arms ignite. Now curl back into it. But keep going up and back, not back and down. Yes. One more breath. And then exhale the hands down, step back, downward dog. Nice, y'all. Inhale, come forward to plank. Work on your breath, not my voice. Exhale, lower chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, baby cobra. Exhale, lower back to chaturanga or lower your chest. Push up through plank. Back to downward dog 2 more times. So flow through a little bit. Remember the breath, though? Don't go ahead of it. Stay with it. At this point in the practice, our heart rate is still pretty low, so your moves are still pretty slow here. Because, all right, that's just what the breath is doing. We're never going to be panting, right? We're not running or jogging, so our breath is never going to be, right? So we never need to move that fast in our practice. Because remember, yoga is conscious, so you want to feel everything that's happening here. Reach the right leg straight back, step it through, lunge. Spin the back heel, come up extended side angle, bent arm to bent knee. So you're on a balance beam, which means your front heel is in line with your back arch. Your back toes are turned forward a little bit. Now we want our front knee to be on top of the ankle and in line with our second toe, the one next to our big toe. So plug that arm in if you need to. All right, sweep it up. Now open up that right side body. It's trying to do this on you. Side crescent, don't let it. Engage that top side. Yeah, see now we cleared the front of the hip. Now bring the sit bone to the heel or sweep your heel to the wall over here and the knee will start to peel out. Maybe the hand goes down to the block or the floor. Pull the belly in and then maybe start to rotate top of the ribs back and the bottom of the ribs forward. Push into that front heel. Inhale, come up nice and tall. Warrior 2. The hands go behind the back, interlace the fingers, and bow to the inside of that right thigh, humble warrior. Here's that chest again, right? And those arms. But there's a reason why we want to look to the front left corner of your mat. When you look there, you feel how your spine gets nice and tall and long. That's what we want. That's that neutral spine that we're talking about. Now maybe start to reach the arms like over your head and stress and like positively stress that stretch a little bit more. One more breath. Exhale the hands down to the floor, spin the back heel up, downward dog, move through one vinyasa. Nice, y'all. Reach the left leg straight back, step it through, lunge, spin the back heel, come up extended side angle. Side 2. Make sure you're long enough, right? If your knee's coming in front of your ankle, you probably have to go a little bit longer. Keep those back toes slightly turned forward a little bit. That'll help root the thigh back. And then work that side body again. The crescent wants to dominate. Don't let it. Work that right side to open up that left. Belly in, shutters closed. Yep. If you want to go hand to the floor or the block, go ahead. If you want to rotate open, go ahead. That ankle give out on you? Yeah. One more breath. Now inhale, come up tall into that warrior 2. Yep. When your hands go behind your back, if your left pinky was under, your right pinky's this time. The uncomfortable way for sure. Then bow to the inside of that left thigh. Look to the front right corner of your mat. Yep. Then maybe start to reach the hands up overhead and intensify that stretch a little bit. But play with what feels good to you, right? Be here in your moment. One more breath. And then exhale the hands down to the floor. Spin the back heel up, downward dog. Move through one vinyasa. That's it. Keep the pace. It should feel like you're moving in slow motion, right? Like 2 or 3 seconds is a long time to come forward to plank, right? 2 or 3 seconds is a long time to lower in chaturanga. There's a lot of shit we can do in 2 or 3 seconds. Not always the case in life, right? 2 or 3 seconds goes by in a blink of an eye. But in this instance, 2 or 3 seconds is a long time. There's a lot of shit we can move. Take the right hand to the outside of the left calf. Take the twist and downward dog. Now remember that cue we gave earlier? Push that hand down and forward. So left hand pushes down into the mat, into the front of the room. It's going to tape your hips back to where the ceiling and the wall meet at the back. Inhale, unwind. Swap. Left hand to the outside of right. Push your right hand down and forward and keep the weight going into the legs. You keep pushing the hand forward, you're going to push the weight back. That's what we want. Inhale, unwind. Look forward, bend your knees, step or jump between your hands, swing your arms up, take a nice big reach. Nice, y'all, draw that belly. When you lengthen the sit bones down, it protects your low back. Okay, sit back, chair pose, by request. In chair pose, our butts do not go to the sky. They're going to gently reach to your heels. See how my lumbar spine fills in? This is these muscles overfiring here. This is not enough, right? Lift, sit back a little deeper. Yep, keep hugging in, pull the belly in, pull your shutters closed. Yep, sit back deeper. Hug that forearm between the beach ball between your forearms and sit back even deeper. Yep, push down, rise up. Exhale, right hand behind your back, left hand to your elbow. Now we're in Tadasana. Remember where we started? We're just in a little variation. So right now, if I had shorts on, you'd see every muscle in my legs fired up. All right? My belly, core fired up. I'm pushing my head back into my forearm to get some feedback through the back of my neck, right? And it feels like you can stand up tall. And then draw the fingers up and intensify this stretch a little bit. Exhale, release. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, left behind your back, right to your elbow. You feel how this wants to happen, right? So you want to lean forward here. This is hip hinge. This is human movement, right? This, anterior pelvic tilt, this is human misalignment, right? So we want all this to go back. Then you're leaning forward that little bit. That's when you can push your head back and use that feedback to stand up nice and tall while still keeping this sacrum back, by still keeping all this back. Am I asking y'all to do a lot? Yes. Exhale, release. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, fold. But y'all know I say it all the time. If you came here thinking this shit was going to be easy, you were wrong, right? This shit is not easy. It's challenging. It just happens to be fun, right? So that's how we get through these challenging moments, because we have fun while we practice. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, fold. That's what brought me back to yoga, was it was so challenging. And I just couldn't get enough of that challenge. I still can't. But that's the play, right? Some things are going to be accessible, and some things you're going to have to work a little harder for, right? It's just, yoga just mimics life. It's the same thing. It just happens to be here on the mat, and we're moving our body. But we still got to work for these things. So as you look forward, feel the legs engage, right? Notice, did they try to turn off? They shouldn't have. As you look forward, drag your fingers back to your toes, and you're going to feel this engagement run up your spine like you're getting tall. Use that to now fold into the pose even a little bit deeper. Yeah. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, place the hands, step the right leg back, lunge. Right hand down, left elbow back, take the twist. Don't let that right hip dip on you. It's going to try to fall. Don't let it. Soften your left thigh to the floor more. That, you feel now you can bring the right one up more. Yeah. Inhale, come back to center. Step forward. So push from that right foot to your left heel. Yep, keep the knees bent, reach the left leg back. Twists are above the waist. Left hand down, right elbow back. So if your left hip starts to drop, is that below or above your waist? Below, right? So we know that shouldn't be happening because twists are above the waist, specifically in your thoracic spine, that middle upper back. So keep working that. Go even a little more, soften this one down. Yeah, and there's that left hip back. Maybe look up. Inhale, come back to center. Push from the left foot to the right heel. Swing the arms up. Take a nice big reach. Maybe curl back. Yep. Inhale, come up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look forward. Stay with your breath. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, place the hands, step or jump back, downward dog. Move through your vinyasa 3 times. So flow a little bit, get dynamic. Last night I was talking about we always want to control the start, the stop, and the hold. Right? Your acceleration, your deceleration, and your stabilization. Nice pace, y'all. After we do our 3, when you get back to downward dog, exhale, lower your knees, sit back on your heels, grab a drink, Vajrasana, go to child's pose if you want to chill, whatever feels good. Take a little break. Last night it was Alice in Chains. It's Mad Season now. If you don't know Alice in Chains or Mad Season, you need to go home and look that shit up. Like, don't even put your shit down. Go right in and check it out immediately. It's like that important. All right, inhale, come up. Exhale, hands down. All 4s. Take a couple breaths. I mean, you know, if you missed the 90s, you missed it. You know. All right, step back to plank, and then downward dog. Some of you probably weren't even born in the 90s. Back row, you hearing me, right? Back row's got my back. 1 vinyasa. Reach the right leg straight back, step it through, lunge. Spin that back heel down, spin the toes towards the wall with the window and the door. We're going to come in a wide-legged forward fold. Since we got some space today, let's hit this pose. Sometimes when there's a lot of us, right, the head to butt ratio is a little close, but today, since we got some space, right, let's use it. So your legs are pretty wide, right, here in this wide-legged forward fold. But we got to make sure our feet are set up because that's right the beginning of the foundation. We want to keep sweeping the inner heels out and have the big toe mounds pulling in. So you could even turn your toes in just that little bit to help initiate that good energy. But keep sweeping the inner heels out, but pulling the big toe mounds into the midline. Now, inhale, look forward. Come to like a flat back here. Yep. You feel all that work happening between the shoulder blades. Now, keep that engagement. Now, from here, take a nice fold into the pose. Some of you might keep the hands out front a little more. Some of you are going to walk your hands. So if you turn your hands out, so your fingers are facing the brick wall behind you, try to bring the heels of your hands in line with the heels of your feet. But let that happen at the hip crease, not at the belly. Remember, the belly crunching is the misalignment. Remember the hip hinge, that's the human movement. Go ahead, Catherine. That's awesome. Watch this a little bit. Yeah. Awesome. If your hands are back, walk them out front. Inhale, look forward. Yep, walk your hands to that right foot. Spin the toes forward and the back heel up. Downward dog. Reach the left leg straight back. Step it through. Lunge. Side 2. So spin the back heel down and the toes towards the brick wall. Then walk your hands into the middle. Now, we'll have another option on this side. Same setup though, right? We got to get that foundation set up. Then if you want to walk the hands back like you did before, go for it. If you want a little more muscle energy, a little more opener in the chest and engagement in the upper back, interlace your hands behind your back. Yep. Now look forward so the spine gets nice and tall. Yeah. Now when you hinge, hinge at the hip crease. Try not to let the belly crunch. We're not stick figures. So does your belly move a little bit? It does. But we don't want to collapse into that space, right? Feel the depth of the pose happening at the hip crease as the hip flexes. That means it's closing, right? Think of the front of your pelvis working closer to the front of the thighs. And then if you have the clasp, release it down. Let that inhale look forward. Then walk the hands towards that left foot. Spin the toes forward and the back heel up. Downward dog. Work through one vinyasa. And then from here, take the feet wide, walk the hands back, come to squat pose, Malasana. So just have your heels rooted. Let your knees track your toes. That will be the safest for them. Lift your inner arches up and bring a little weight to the outer edges of the foot. Hug your knees in first so you engage muscles on the insides of the thighs and the groins, and then push the elbows away to stretch them. Then gently draw your elbows down into your knees, and you'll start to feel like you can sit up a little bit taller. Yep. And now breathe. And then you can stay here if you want. You want to hit crow, you're going to lift up, place your hands down, just like downward dog. Then your knees are going to be on the outside. You could even stack them on the back of the arms if that's easier. But walk your feet to the midline first so that your big toe mounds are touching. Then look forward. And as you look forward, you're going to start to bring the weight forward. And your feet are going to get real light. They're going to start to come up off the ground. When that happens, pull your heels to your butt and then push your hands down like you're trying to straighten your arms. Yep. Maybe kick back chaturanga. Yep. Question? So, action, you mean? So the jump back is not as far as it seems when you jump back to chaturanga. Most of the time when I see the jump back, it ends up being too long. So, and then that stresses the shoulder out. So some of you have heard me talk about before, in your chaturangas, you need to keep your forearm straight up and down. The way the bicep attaches up in the scap, it wants to do this, right? So when the bicep fires up like this, it's going to pull the shoulder forward. So it's super important to make sure that we're keeping the forearm straight up and down. See, now I'm more neutral here. When I go to jump back, I need to make sure that I'm not going to go too far. But it's not really that far. It's just shoulders on top of, well, we're in chaturanga, so your shoulders are in front, but I'm going to be like here. See where my forearms are? I didn't really go that far. As compared to plank, I'd have had to jump back a little further because that's when my shoulders would be on top of my wrists, right? But since I'm in chaturanga, I'm here. And this I always see. You got to go this way. So how do you do that? Well, you got to get your hamstrings to engage. That's why, I don't always do a lot of big hamstring openers with y'all because your hamstrings attached to these are called your ischial tuberosities, your sit bones, okay? They're attached here and they pull this down, right? When these aren't engaged properly, this happens. And we already know our hip flexors are super tight, right? So now we don't have engagement and we have over engagement. So this happens, right? So you got to think, I first got to get this on. Hamstrings, that's pulling your heels to your butt to your heels. Now this starts to come down, then I can go belly in. Now my pelvis is pretty straight, right? Like if it was a bowl, it would be facing straight up to the ceiling as compared to like where the ceiling and the wall meet. Does that make sense? So you got to really think this in chaturanga. You want to show it one more time, Trina? Right? So watch, we're going to come up into crow. Now remember, it's not real far, right? Take the breath. And then we kick back. Whoosh. Yep. How long have we been working together?
12 years.
12 years. So imagine how many times I've said, belly button in, sit bones down. right? A lot. But you see where the muscle memory is? That was tight, right? Boom, right back. This is one of our misalignments of life. Of course this energy wants to dominate. So you got to try to neutralize that shit, right? That's what we do in yoga. We try to bring everything back to neutral. You want to give it a try? So come on, let's give it a try. So, one more time. Set yourself up in your malasana, your squat pose, or your crow, right? So a little something for everybody. And then we're going to take a couple breaths, right? We'll come up into our crow. Now, when you're learning this, don't jump all the way back. Just jump a little bit, just to see what it's like to release your knees off of the back of your arms. So just go a little bit here. Yeah, right? And you start to feel, okay, I start here, right? And then all I'm going to do is like come back. Okay, that's what it's like to come off my elbows. Okay, I got that. I still feel pretty good. I'm going to go a little further. Okay, I got that, right? Then eventually work to where you're going a little bit further. Yes, yes. And it's not as far as it seems, right? It's pretty tight still. If you feel like you're getting like really weak in it, you're probably going too far, right? You just keep notching it back little by little. Next thing you know, pop back to Chaturanga. You're welcome, you're welcome. Want to keep going? All right, all fours, hands and knees. Take a couple breaths. Step back to plank. Actually, you know what? Yeah, plank. Here we go. You just had that nice rest. You knew that rest wasn't just free, right? I was coming with something. Now keep those hips up. These look awesome, y'all. Yeah. So remember what we said. What's the distance? Your shoulders are on top of your wrist crease, and you're reaching out of your heels. So if you're not sure, look where Trina is. She's in dorsiflexion. That means her toes are closer to her shin. A high heel would be plantar flexion. We're going the exact opposite. Yep, keep those hips up. I see another little offering here, plank balance. So right arm up, left leg back. Yep. Lower it down, left arm up, right leg back, or your side too. Yep. Lower it down, maybe go one more each side. We got about 5 seconds coming up here. If you're doing plank balance, balance the sides out. If you're in plank, slowly lower to your bellies. That's where we'll all meet. Nice, y'all. Right hand underneath your chest. Bend your left knee, reach back, grab the ankle, the foot, or the strap. Grab that quad stretch here. So here's one of those situations. Now, rectus femoris, which is the middle quad. Okay, that's going to be a hip flexor and a knee extender. So that turns into your patellar tendon, and it's going to attach up here at the hip. All right, so it's doing this action, right, and it's doing this action. That's what this muscle's doing. So in this instance, you're trying to stretch it. So what do you think is going to happen to the front of the pelvis when you pull the muscle that pulls the front of the pelvis forward? It's going to pull the front of the pelvis forward even more, right? So you got to keep the engagement here. Here's hamstrings because your knee is bent. So you're getting this to turn on a little bit. Now go belly button to spine and push your junk down into the yoga mat. Yeah, your pubic bone. Now hold it there. Yes, that's neutral pelvis. Now start to draw the heel to the sit bone. If you still get this in your low back, bring your forehead all the way down towards like your forearm or to the mat. That'll really neutralize the spine. Then the pelvis will be able to find neutrality easier, and then the quad stretch will get a little more efficient. Watch the boing as you release. That's not yoga 101 shit, right? We're talking deep. We're getting a little deeper in what is your human movement and how you move your body. Swap side two. Right, that's well beyond the belly button in cue. Right, that's like both sides on how to, really what your pelvis needs to do, even in Tadasana, is a posterior shift. The whole thing needs to shift back. It's just pulled forward with everything that we do. Then hug the knees in, so keep adducting so the knee doesn't splay out to the side. The hamstring is on the right side. That one's easier to get, right? The left one's a little more challenging. Go belly button to spine, and then pubic bone or junk into the yoga mat. And then as the heel draws towards the sit bone, the quad stretch gets better. You feel the quad stretch gets better just as soon as you neutralize the pelvis. It started to change. And then watch the boing as you release. Take that right hand out to the side. palm is down. Bend your left knee, roll towards your right hip. So I've been working this with you all because we've been doing some chest stuff the past few weeks, right? And this is one I do to get into the forearm and the bicep and that pec one more time. So I tend to show you all bringing that left arm in front to support that right shoulder joint, right? But some of you have been interlacing your hands behind your back, and we've made that shape today. So if you want to interlace your hands behind your back, go for it. Now, the closer that your hands are to your butt, the more accessible this would be. The higher your hands are going to be towards your head, the more challenging this is going to be. So if you're going hands behind the back, find that sweet spot. If you're thinking more therapeutic in this, keep that left arm in front to help support the joint. Now bring your chest towards me, like toward the wall with the window and the door, and that's going to stretch the arm. Now take your left shoulder back, and you'll feel the right side of your chest open up. So 2 different things here that we got to work, 2 actions. And then if the hands are clasped, release. Inhale, come back to center. Take the left hand out to the side. How's that for you?
It's okay.
It was okay. That's internal rotation. Yeah, because it's less stretch.
Yeah.
It's less pull in that instance. This is that shortening. This is that lengthening. Like you had talons, dig your fingertips into the floor. Right? You're rooting into these. Then drag your chest towards the brick wall, and that's when the stretch comes up the arm. Remember this bicep, what it does to that scap and that shoulder? We want to get this bicep to open up. Then as you take that right shoulder back, you start to peel the left side of the chest. Wherever your right hand is going to be in front, or if you're interlaced, balance the sides out. And then keep working those 2 actions, a couple more breaths, forward to the wall, and then up to the sky. Next inhale, come back to center. Interlace your hands behind your back. Tack your toenails flat down into the mat. Charge your legs up. Belly to spine, pubic bone into the yoga mat to keep that low back safe. When you're ready, inhale, go forward as you lift the chest. Exhale, lower. Inhale, come up. Exhale, lower. Keep it going. Let's do 5. So we'll play this a little more dynamic. Don't lose the pelvis, though. Belly to spine, pubic bone to the mat. Or junk to the mat, or sit bones to the backs of your knees. However you want to think of neutralizing your pelvis. After your 5, release the hands. Bring your hands under your head and make like a little pillow. Just turn your head to one side. You could do some butt wiggles. You could do some reverse windshield wipers. We haven't talked about that core muscle that runs up your spine. Anybody know what that one's called? Multifidus. Yeah. Inhale, come back to center. Bring the legs back straight. Arms along the sides. Again, interlace the fingers behind the back. Remember, swap the hand hold. If left pinky was under, right this time. Charge those legs up. Belly to spine, pubic bone to the mat. Look forward as you lift that chest. Yeah, so we make space as we come up. We don't want to cram in that lumbar. And that's one we're going to hold. Keep breathing. Yes. Reach your hands maybe towards your heels that little bit. You'll feel that lift happen in the upper back. Right here is where we're trying to work, between the shoulder blades from your head to your butt. One more breath. Then control it as you release, nice and slow. If your right hand was on top, left hand on top, turn your head to the other side. Butt wiggles or reverse windshield wipers, whatever feels good. Nice, y'all. And then come to neutral. Place the hands middle of the chest. Curl the toes, take those shoulders back. Charge those legs up, fire up that core. Now, when you're ready, push up the chaturanga and take a full round of breath. Then push up the plank, take a full round of breath. Nice, y'all. Then push back the downward dog, take a few rounds of breath. Nice. We've been working on that push, right, for a few weeks now. And it's getting better, right? The more we do it, the stronger we get. Work through one vinyasa. Nice, y'all. From downward dog, roll to the outside of the right foot, stack the left foot on top or in front, come into side plank. When you turn the bicep forward, you're going to root into the upper back. When you push out of the big toe mounds, you're going to fire up into the leg. Now, Kapha hugs that left knee to our chest. We grab our ankle or our foot here. Yep. Now we got to curl back. So we got to lean back into that right arm. Keep hugging in, adducting. Yep. Now start to kick the foot back into the hand. As you draw the hand into the foot, curl into the upper back. Yes, one more breath. Release the leg. Inhale, come back to plank. Push back, downward dog. Take a couple breaths here. Get ready. We're going to go right into side two. Here we go. Now the heart rate might be coming up, right? Roll to the outside of the left foot. Stack the right foot on top or in front. So that means the breath is getting a little bit faster, right? If the heart rate comes up, the breath is going to have to come up with it. This is the way we want to go. This way. So we root the shoulder back. That's how we get the friends in the game. Kapha hugs the right knee to the chest. The knees are going to want to splay, so hug into the midline like you're adducting. Then curl back into that left arm. Now kick the leg back in the hand. Draw that foot back in. So it's going both ways here. Yes. Release the foot if it's there. Inhale, come back to plank. Push back, downward dog. Nice, y'all.
That pose went from ick to yay.
That pose will do that within right? It's super challenging. Reach the right leg straight back, step it through, pigeon. But the reason we get our core fired up, right, in all these practices, so we can challenge it. You have to keep challenging yourself, right? Keep moving it just a little bit further. Otherwise, we plateau, and then we don't get any stronger, right? When we work our edge, that's how we're always going to get stronger. So the right knee's nice and wide to the right edge of the mat, the left knee's in line with the hip. You could see some supine pigeons if you have any knee issues or hip issues, and it's more comfortable to be on your back. Feel free to be on your back, okay? Now, push your front knee down and pull it back to you. Push the ball of your foot down on your left foot or your toenails if they're flat and pull it forward to you. Yep. Now, pull that pelvic floor up again. Belly, shudders, that's where you get the lift. I know a lot of you like to fold, so now that we made the space, go ahead into the fold. Keep looking forward to the front of your mat so that spine stays nice and long here. Yep. Feel that clear your back right here? Do you get that a little bit? It should clear, when you move your hips square, yeah, it should open this up. These look good, yo. One more breath. And then inhale, come up, place the hands, take a breath. Lift the hips, unwind that right leg, reach it back to where the ceiling and the wall meet. Come forward to plank with the leg up. Back to downward dog. Come back, forward with the leg up. Back towards downward dog, so your heel's reaching where the ceiling and the wall meet. One more time. Come forward, and then push back. And then lower that right leg down, take a breath. That's good extension out of the hip. Reach the left leg straight back, step it through, pigeon. So this time that left knee is nice and wide. The left one you can see, right? The front one. The back one you might have to peek over your shoulder to see. But that front one you can see, and we want it to be wide out to the edge. Today we just don't happen to be linking anything up with this. But what happens when that knee is to the midline is what happens if we're going to go Ekapada Rajapaktasana, right? Or we're even going to do the quad stretch. Now we're super narrow in our foundation and we're going to be wobbly, right? When we take that knee out to the side, that doesn't just open up the hip, but then you'll use it later on as well, right? So of course we need it open to get to the hip. When you're ready, pull up, fold. There's Ekapada Rajya Kapotasana. Don't let gravity pull you down to the floor. Keep pushing down and hugging in so you feel yourself lifting up. It's easy to just collapse to the floor, right? But that's not the pose, because that's lacking muscle energy. And you all know poses have to work, right? Both muscle and organic. Some of them have more than others, but they have to all have a little bit of something in them, right? And then inhale, come up, place the hands. When you're ready, lift the hips, unwind that left leg, reach it back to where the ceiling and the wall meet. Then come forward with the leg up and back to where the ceiling and the wall meet. 2 more times. After you do those 3, lower that left leg down, look forward, bend your knees, step or jump between your hands. Swing your arms up as you take a nice big reach. Maybe curl back. Inhale, come up. Exhale, hands in front. All right, grab your mats, find a spot on the wall. You can come up front, doors, wherever feels good to you. Be plenty of room, so find a spot that feels good to you. If you're at home, you don't have the wall to kick up on, you can always lay on your back. Bend your knees. Interlace your hands behind your thigh as you reach that heel to the sky and take a bunch of breaths. And then you can swap into side 2. Whether you're at home or in the studio, if it's not your day to invert, you're always welcome to lay legs up the wall or do a pose that feels good to you. Okay? I'll talk you into downward dog and L pose. Last night we did some Pincha Mayas. We did shoulders and stuff, chest today. Lats, so that should be accessible for a lot of you. If you want to work your pincha, go for it. If you're going to stick with me, let's go all 4s, hands and knees. Trina's walking around, so if you have any questions on inversions, right, grab her as she's cruising around, and she'll give you a hand right away. Once I get everybody up, I'll start walking around as well, and if you need me, grab me, okay? So let's start all 4s, hands and knees if you're sticking with me. If you're going on your own, whenever you're ready. We're going to start in that low mountain. When you're ready, start to charge it up. Now lift your knees and your hips, come to a short downward dog. And just check in. You feel pretty good? Step 1 foot up the wall. Check in again. You still feel pretty good? Step the 2nd foot up the wall. Now with your knees bent, you'll be in downward dog inverted. With your legs straight, you'll be in L pose. So 2 different poses. Nice, y'all. Stay with your breath. Yoga's asking you to be as cool, calm, and collected right now, upside down, as you were right here in Tadasana, in mountain pose. Right? Easier said than done? Shit, yeah. But that's the offering, right? That's the challenge. Stay with your breath. The one thing I notice that happens when we kick up, we hold our breath. That's making you weaker. So keep that breath going. That's the fuel. So bring your feet down a little bit more so that you make like an L. And then bring your chest towards the bricks. And when you do that, you should feel there's like all this work happening in your upper back. That's awesome. So when you go in L pose, since we work the upper back and open the chest and things like that, L pose is nice for that. It's a really deep pose. L pose is more challenging than handstand. We just show you L pose first because it's less ass overhead, not because it's physically, right, like easier. It's more demanding because the legs are out the back, right, as compared to everything stacking up. But that's the play. Keep hugging your elbows in. Yeah, and exhale when you take your legs up. That'll make your belly draw in. Yeah, yeah. Yep. Keep hugging your elbows in. Yeah. These look awesome, yo. Beautiful. You hit a pincha, Maya. Last night we did goofy pincha. You want to hit a goofy pincha? Go for it. One arm is in pincha, one arm is in chaturanga. It's fun. I'll do it at the workshop. I tend to show that one in the workshop, yep. I moved the workshop to the 25th, right? Obviously, because it was supposed to be last night. Just with the holiday, I thought it'd be a little more appropriate to move it, so we moved it. So about maybe another minute. If you're inverted out, you can lay on your back or do a pose that feels good to you. We are actually going to come to standing after this, but for right now, take a couple breaths, relax. Are you good there?
Yeah.
Okay. You all right, touch? Yeah. So we're going, bring this back and this forward. Keep going. That. Yeah. Yeah. You should feel like this isn't catching anymore, and you're able to keep this drawing in. Yep. That's nice. You feel what happened? It was just like kind of thighs back or hips back, sacrum back, that whole shit, right? And legs actually forward, that hair. Yeah. That's nice. That's awesome. All right. Let's meet standing back bend. So I teach these to people who've never done a back bend before and those of you who are going to walk down the wall. Okay? It goes wherever you want it to. The idea is going to be that when you set yourself up, right, the closer you are, you could start right here, nice and close to the wall. And then when I curl back and I bring my thumbs to the wall, I got good support, right? And here's, now if I want to go further, I would be out here more, right? And then as I work my back bend, I come to the wall. Some of you are going to walk down the wall where you start to walk the feet out as you start to walk down the wall a little bit more, right? Play wherever feels good to you. So let's all do it together, and then you can play wherever you want. We'll do two. So set yourself up on your mat. Maybe, if you're comfortable with back bends, probably about 2 feet away. Yep. If you're a little tighter in those areas, maybe 1 foot. Because remember, you can always move forward. You don't want to get stuck, right? So now set yourself up. Back bends, 90% legs, 10% back bend. It's all about the foundation, right? So here we go. Charge those legs up. Then inhale the arms up. Now pull the shutters down. Yeah. Now curl back. When you curl back, it's under your shoulder. It's between your shoulder blades, right at the bottom here. Not in the lumbar spine. Yep. You feel comfortable? Walk your feet forward a hair. You feel good here? Stay here. But everybody let the back of the heart lift up through the front of the chest. Some of you are going to walk all the way down into wheel, right? Down to the floor. Some of you are going to walk back up. Play wherever feels good to you. When you're ready, inhale, come up. Exhale, hands to the tops of the thighs. Just sit back. This is a nice little neutral position to kind of just, we want to balance out back bends with either a twist or a neutral forward fold. This is what we're going for here. And then push down, rise up. We'll do one more. How'd that go? It could be a little scary, right? Like, dude, there's no doubt some of this shit you have to own, right? You got to be like, no, I got to just get into this, right? Do you do that like mindlessly? No. You take a breath, right? You set a foundation, you engage, and then you express. And that's the way it always goes. Come on, try one more. So set it up. Take a breath, right? Set a foundation. Start to get the legs rooted. The feet are parallel, right? Engage. Start to hug in. Inhale the arms up. There's the space now that we're going to move into. And then when you're ready, express. Curl back just a little bit. Maybe check back in. You're good? Take the back bend even further. Walk the feet forward that little bit. Walk the hands down. Yep. Play wherever feels good to you. So, and then when you come up, hands to the tops of the thighs. So in a drop back, right, it's not like the body's straight and we do this when we go back, right? That's not the case. When you drop back, right before they go for it, this is a little bit beyond my back bending, but right before, right, the internal rotation happens and the big crease at the hip happens, right? Not like we're going down this way. So what happens is you start the back bend, and then when you get close, you do this. And as you do this, this goes back, thighs back, kind of looks almost like I'm working my wheel, right? Like I'm going up into it. Same idea, right? So when you're thinking about that drop back, don't think it's just like, it's not, right? There's a lowering to the floor at that last little bit. All right, let's go. Downward dog. Bend the knees nice and deep. Yep, there's that neutral forward fold that we're looking for. Now we'll go into a Bridget's cross. So you're going to reach your right leg straight back, come forward, right knee to left elbow, kick the leg out to the side and lower to your right hip, the outside of your right hip. Yep. So you see where the pose is up here? For Trina, the left leg is kind of like in a lunge leg, right? The heel is trying to point straight up to the sky. Now, I do this pose with you all a lot when we're near the wall because you feel like this is falling in. You can go up to the wall, like move back to the wall, and then the wall would be behind your foot, right? So you could push your foot into the wall, and then that'll give you some more engagement to keep that heel sweeping up. Now, when you want to, you can lower down even further down into the pose. Bring your forearms down to the mat. There's the twist. We did a few twists today, right? So for some of you, this might be accessible. You're going to TP the fingers on the right hand, and you're going to thread your left hand underneath. Yeah, like you're trying to get the outside of your left shoulder down to the mat. Elizabeth, that's close. Go slow. Go slow. Keep it here, actually. So look what we want to do in the legs. If I pushed your legs out, you're going to hug them in. Squeeze me. That. Now, yes, get the length out of this. Yep. Yep. If you're in this deep twist, inhale, come back. Yep. It's a little pretzel-ish. Yep. But this is a pretzel kind of town, so it's what we do. All right, place the hands, lift the hips, reach that right leg back to where the ceiling and the wall may be. Careful as you reach it back if you're close to the wall. And then lower it down. Take a breath. Reach the left leg straight back. Come forward, left knee to right elbow, or whatever your side two is. Kick the leg out to the side. Lower down to that left hip. The first part of this pose is fun enough, right? So don't always get wrapped up in that last part. We did a few twists today, so it makes it a little more accessible. This would definitely be way more accessible if we did a full twisting class, right? So right here is a nice place to be in that twist. Remember, twist is rotating the spine, not manipulating the rib cage. So like this right here, this is me manipulating my ribs. This is me rotating my spine, right? And there's a huge difference in the two. Now, if you want to go into that deeper twist, it's the left hand TPs and the right hand threads underneath. So you're twisting away from the extended leg. Remember, play from the legs. Come on, let's try this on the side too. So, squeeze me. Yeah. And then build it up out of your waist. Yeah. Look at that. Woo. Woo. Right? Legs are going to be the magic here. You got to work from the legs. All the poses. Inhale, unwind. Place the hand down. That was awesome. When you're ready, lift the hips, reach that leg back. And then lower the leg, lower the knees, spin around to a seated position. Like, we always talk about in yoga, root to rise or pushing down, right? Down in Soma, those of you that see me down in Soma know I am like, it's always about legs, right? It's about you have to engage your legs. That's where it's going to come from, right? And then the pose is going to build, because what are the legs? They're going to be like the foundation. Remember we said we needed breath, then foundation, then engagement, then extension, right? And that's the deal. So always think about your legs working hard. All right, let's sit up here, Baddha Konasana. So if you bring your feet together and your knees wide, if you feel like this is happening, remember we talked about the pelvis and we're rounding the low back? We want the low back to go in and up. See how now my low back's in and up as compared to out and down? If it's out and down, I'm going to sit up on the blanket. Whenever you sit on a blanket, you want to sit to the very front. If you just sit like this, it's the same as sitting on the floor. But if you sit this way, see how now I start to tip off the blanket? Look how now this is really lifted up. So the blanket could definitely be your friend. Now push your feet together and draw your hands into your feet. It's going to help you sit up nice and tall. Yep. Now as the knees gently soften towards the mat a little bit, maybe hinge forward just a touch. But your chest goes first, not your chin. This is what's going to want to happen. And we got to go this way. Throat back, chest first. Yeah, nice, y'all. Go slow. Right? Don't force anything. Go slow. One more breath. And then inhale, come up. Exhale, lay back. Take your legs out straight. Reach the arms up overhead. Take a nice big stretch here. Feel all that space that we make in our practice. And hug your knees to your chest. Give yourself a little hug or make a couple small circles. Take the legs out straight. Take the arms up overhead. One more nice stretch. And this time, as you hug your knees to your chest, take your knees wide. Come to Happy Baby, Ananda Balasana. Knees are wide, wider than your shoulders. Sit bones are down, so sacrum's flat. What wants to happen? Your butt wants to fly to the sky, right? See where Trina's at? So we would let go of our feet and we'd hold the outsides of our knees. Now we can take those knees nice and wide and we'll be nice and neutral then in the pelvis. And then draw your knees towards your ears to get the stretch. You could rock side to side. You could reach one leg out, both legs out, whatever feels good to you. And when you're ready, bless you. Inhale the knees to center. Exhale the legs out straight. We'll take Shavasana. Beautiful practice, crew. Feel free to add or remove layers or props. I'm going to talk everyone through laying flat, but you're more than welcome to do a variation that feels good to you. Here as we lay back, let the legs stretch out and the feet gently roll open. Let the arms come along the sides. Take the shoulders back. Maybe let that open palm turn to the sky. Let the head rest back. Maybe let the eyes close. And allow the tongue to soften from the roof of the mouth. Let the body get heavy. Let the mind turn back to the breath. Each exhale clears and removes as it makes space. Each inhale draws in something new, the change. Let the heart open as it collects the practice. The heart's going to move the practice into the yoga of life. It's going to bring you back to the mat, the practice again. And we say our mind wants to do everything, and our body wants to do nothing. So it's your heart that brings balance.
Begin here to draw in a deeper breath. Feeling the breath as it washes over the body. Your toes, your fingers, the crown of your head, through your heart. We reawaken that better version of ourselves. As the fingers and the toes wiggle, let the arms and the legs stretch or reach or move in a way that feels good to you. Taking your time, moving slowly, consciously, aware of everything. When you're ready, the knees can hug to your chest and just roll to the right side. When you're ready, push the hands down. We'll meet seated position with our eyes closed and our hands in front of our hearts.
One more time to seal in our practice, our time together with our Kula, our yoga family. Together, the sound of Om. Deep breath in. Beautiful. As we softly bow our head to our hearts, our heads to each other's hearts. For all of that hard work, that determination, that challenge, the love and the support you always give each other, it's to you that I bow. Namaste. Thanks, crew. Good to see you all. Thank you, Trina. Home crew, you know, if you have any questions, grab us before you go. If something feels weird, definitely grab me before you go. I'll see you all next week. Trina, you want to talk about your class?
There's a new class Tuesdays at noon. I'll be teaching it. I would love to see you there.
Elizabeth, you have anything coming up?
Sound bath tomorrow night, 6:45.
Sound bath tomorrow night, 6:45. I think that's it, right? Thanks, everyone. Crazy, right? It's so funny that, like, the twist gets deeper from the legs.
I don't even mean to.